No. L. O. To the B. To the E. Show love.
Yes, yes, yes. Show love, show love, show love. And that's what I try to do every single week when I bring some fantastic guests to all of you. Hello, hello. My name is Gina from Talk with Gina, and I appreciate all of you who tune in with me every week so that we could get some wellness going on. I provide some great guests that can share and impart some fantastic knowledge for all of us. This week is no different. I have none other than June Archer. June is a TV personality, motivational teacher, author, music executive. He serves on numerous boards. And most of all, he is such a nice man. I can't say anything great. I've known him for years, and I'm going to bring him on so that I can share him with all of you. June, where are you, June? Hey, gratitude for you being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm so excited about your platform. Congratulations on everything that you're doing. And I appreciate you sharing this platform with me today. I can't thank you enough.
No, I thank you. I mentioned it to you, and you were so gracious. I saw one of your interviews, and I reached out to you and I said, June, what platform are you using? And you took that time and you said, you know what, Gina, if you don't know how to do it, I'll give you a quick tutorial. Are you serious? It doesn't matter that I've known you for such a long period of time, but you took the time. People just don't understand how busy you are. You know what I mean? But you still remain humble at heart. And I was right there on time. I was like, June, you ready? You're like, Ginny, I'm coming. I'm ready.
You were.
I was like, Johnny on the spot. I was not going to waste your time. And you took that time. And here we are. That was last December. And this is my 19th episode. And you are definitely a part of it. My very first episode, I definitely mentioned you as part of my journey because I do thank you. And you have to remember those who helped you. So thank you.
No, you are very welcome. And thank you. Thank you for even entrusting me with the opportunity to learn something. Some people will ask for help, not want it, or ask for help and not appreciate it, ask for help and not know how to receive it. So it works both ways, and the universe rewards you handsomely when you do ask, receive, and be able to execute it in the best possible way that you can. So thank you.
Well, thank you. So June, we're gonna get into it, because this show is about wellness, learn, uplift, and inspire. And your story is really something. We have a friend in common, Eric Kahn, and he told me that he used to make flyers for you. And he said, quote, "You are the definition of progress." I mean, he literally reached out to me and wrote that to me in a text. And I said, wow, I'll make sure that I let June know, because there aren't that many people out here that folks feel that strongly about. But the road that you paved is nothing short of amazing. But of course, it was hard work as well. So
I appreciate that. And I appreciate that comment. I will say this. I received that. I think that says a lot about who I am as I'm working towards inspiring and motivating people. To hear something like that lets me know that I'm trending in the right direction.
Oh, you definitely are. So we'll start from the beginning. So where did June? Where's June from? Tell us a little bit about June.
Born in Hartford, Connecticut, raised in Windsor, went to Windsor Public Schools pretty much my whole existence, except for after my parents moved from Hartford into Windsor. I went to parochial school, I think kindergarten, first grade, and then attended first grade in Windsor and grew up there. Small town. It was one of those towns where, at least for me growing up, coming from a Jamaican background, West Indian culture, I couldn't be Jamaican to the black kids because that was kind of funny, and you couldn't be black to the white kids because you were black. So from a very early age, I learned how to code switch. And when you have young people, and these days it's really hard for our young people to navigate these waters, but it allowed me to dive 2 feet in head first as well into sports and entertainment. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
really great athlete playing soccer, basketball, football, baseball, soccer. I did high jump on the track team. I started a group called Junior Edition with my friends because we wanted to be like New Edition, and
Uh-huh.
spawned the opportunity to try out for jazz show choir at high school, and we had the opportunity to travel over. It was tri-state. I think we went down south maybe once or twice in jazz show choir to win competitions, and from there we were like, man, this is a great breeding ground to hone our skills, learning how to do barbershop harmony and dancing and singing, and that's how we really built up
Wow.
the stamina to push forward and do things outside of junior edition where we were just lip syncing, and we started
Mm-hmm.
singing, and then we progressed to going into the recording studio and doing those, as we were doing back then, like work on your little demo tape, right? it was
Right, right, right,
it
right.
was fun. And I remember, Gina, having the opportunity to rehearse in our basements, in our front yards, in our backyards, after school, in the gym, in the hallway, at the community center, everywhere we could have the opportunity. And people would say, well, why y'all do this? Like, why you
Mm-hmm.
continue to do, like, what are y'all working towards? And we're like,
Right.
we're trying to get a record deal. And they were like, people would look at us like, man, come out here and play basketball with us. You don't Nobody gets a record deal around here. Like, nobody. That's so far-fetched. And we always believed at a very young age. I was eighth grade. My boys were ninth and 10th grade. We knew then, like, this, if we work towards this, we
Mm-hmm.
can do this. And
Mm-hmm.
we got to my senior year in high school, and I went on to college at Central Connecticut State University, and realized, man, like, I got to stay close because we got to get this record deal. I had the opportunity to play soccer at LIU, and I turned that opportunity down for a scholarship. So, like, I got to stay close. And then one day, 1995, we get the opportunity, and it wasn't. I have to say this, Gina. It wasn't uh, that story where it's. I'm not trying to make it glamorize it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my senior year in high school, '89, we won a competition to go to the world famous Apollo Theater.
Yes.
Second place prize was, I think, either $250 or $500. The
Mm-hmm.
person who won the second place, as we won first place to go to Apollo, was Anika Noni Rose, who has gone on to become
Look at
the
that.
first African American Disney princess. She was in Dreamgirls with Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson. She's gone on to, you know,
Yep.
Tony Awards, and this
Mm-hmm.
amazing actress.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to share that in a lot of my interviews and when I'm talking to young people, because it's important to know that you don't always have to come first.
Mm-hmm.
First place is definitely, there's a reward for that, but there's
Mm-hmm.
something to be said when you just finish the race, no matter if you come in
That's
first,
right.
second, or third. There is a journey ahead of you that if you take that, and it's not even a loss, it's a lesson. It's a
Mm-hmm.
position to say, I want to get there.
Right.
And she has gone on to do so many amazing things.
She
I'm
has.
so proud of her. We are still friends to this day. She's my child friend. I love her to death. And we go on to the Apollo Theater and we start to meet so many different people, so many people that we idolized at that time. And we were just seeing them for the first time at the Apollo Theater, backstage, in the
Mm-hmm.
hallways, on the streets. We're talking about Teddy Riley and Guy. We're talking about Mike Tyson. We're
Mm.
Biz Markie, Kwame, Eddie, Martin Lawrence, Ed Lover. Like, the list goes on and on.
Mm,
And
mm,
one
mm.
day, the host, Ralph Cooper Jr., who was then hosting with his father, Ralph Cooper Sr., came
Mhm.
to us and said, "Hey, man, I brought you to the attention of Biz Markie. God bless and rest in peace, Bismarck.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Biz Markie wants to connect you guys with this production team." And we're like, "Oh, man, we made it." We were still far off.
Well, wait, June. Let me ask you this though. So you guys are living in Windsor, and now
Windsor and
you
Hartford. Yeah,
were
Windsor and
Windsor,
Hartford.
Hartford, and then you decide to try out for the Apollo. You
Well,
didn't win one.
we won.
Mhm.
We won the competition to go to the Apollo Theater.
Right,
So,
you won the competition, right? Because
uh,
some people think that, oh yeah, you just show up.
oh
No,
no,
right. You have to win before you
had
get
to
on that
win.
stage, and that's huge in itself. So
Absolutely.
I know that you won numerous times, right?
Oh yeah, we won. We won Top Dog Amateur Night,
Uh-huh.
and then we had performed up to that point as performers, or guest performers, 20 times. Right, we made appearances 20 times at the Apollo. And when we got to go back to the Bismarck story, Bismarcky introduced us to the Bomb Squad, which is Hank and Keith Shockley, who was working on Public Enemy, Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, unbeknownst to us, working on Belle Biv DeVoe. Music that we were creating with them happened to be Belle Biv DeVoe music. Um, and we finally got the record deal in 95, and we went back for the 21st time as guest national recording artists with our name on the marquee.
Mm,
Room
mm,
service
mm.
signed to Elektra Records.
How did that feel?
Oh, it felt good. Let me keep it 100 with you. It
Mm-hmm.
felt good, but we knew that day was going to come. Every opportunity, every turn, every obstacle, every door that was closed, every speed bump,
Mm-hmm.
we always knew, like, now we're going to get a record. We're going to see ourselves on television. We're going to see our videos.
Right.
We're going to hear our song on the radio. We're going to be in magazines. We always knew that. So when it did come, there was a celebratory a celebratory response to it, but we're like, no, we deserve to be here. Like
Mm-hmm.
we worked hard for this. And even
Right.
up to that point, I was talking to two of the guys from the group the other day. We used to create our own backstage passes. So when we would walk in places, no one would ever question us because they were like, "Oh, you're supposed to be here. You got the pass on." And
Right.
we lit like that's how much we felt like we
Mm-hmm.
belonged. Like we created this
Right.
whole persona. We had security guards that were our boys, and we would just walk into places and
I
they would
love
advance
it.
it. We walk in, and people would see us at, "Oh, who's that?"
Right.
We weren't even signed at the time. At that point, we were just coming into
But
the
you
Apollo
felt
Theater.
it, right? You spoke it into the universe. You lived it. You lived it,
Absolutely. We
right?
believed it. We bought
Mm-hmm.
into it to the
Mm-hmm.
point where we would be on the phone sometimes with each other and we would act out things that we wanted to see only for them to come to life later on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a power of speaking things into existence and putting things out to the universe.
That's right. That's right. And you did that. I mean, I'm a firm believer of that too. So I know, okay, so after you formed the group disbanded, correct?
In 99, we had two singles out. We had three singles out at the time. We had our first single, Stay. We had a first single, Ain't Nothing Wrong. And then our second single, Stay. And then we were on the remix to the Lost Boys, Me and My Crazy World. And we had just came home. And this is when we went to the Apollo Theater. We went to Apollo Theater that night and we were back out on the road after being
Mm-hmm.
on opening up for New Edition, went back out on the road to do a tour.
Mm-hmm.
And one member in the group just didn't show up for a pretty long string on the tour. And it got to the point where Sylvia Rhone had just had enough. And we were sent off the tour, went back home, and that was it. That was 99. And at that point, I realized I would never allow anyone to define what my journey is going to be
Mm-hmm.
based on what they like or dislike
Right.
or what they think. I'll never allow anyone to hold that over what I want to accomplish.
Correct. So that was the catalyst for you changing your perspective on life and
Absolutely.
how you dealt and how you dealt with things.
Absolutely. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point, I got back into the business as an executive, and everything took off from there. It was having the opportunity to run a label, and then I had the opportunity to work with everybody from Jay-Z, Beyonce, Chris Brown, 50 Cent, Mario, Omarion, Tyrese, Exhibit, uh, a little bit of everybody. It was
Mm-hmm.
just amazing, and finding success in that. and realizing, man, I'm really good at this. I really love this thing called music, and
Mm-hmm.
found that once again, you have to finish the race. Yes, we got the record deal. We saw ourselves on BT, VH1, MTV. We saw ourselves or heard ourselves on the radio. Saw
Right.
ourselves in Billboard, in Right On, and Black Beat, and all these other magazines. It was great. You know, we met a lot of people on. So it was we lived the life. That
Mm-hmm.
was the goal, right? So we did do that.
Right.
However, cut short, I still knew, man, there's something about this thing called music that I love. I have to
Mm.
continue to pursue it. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to educate artists on the journey and what to expect. And as a blessing, the first two artists, actually first three artists I got to work with were Mario, Chris Brown, and Amarion. And really just
Mm.
pouring into them to be the best version of themselves. So I just came out of a situation with a boy band. Like I was in a group.
Right.
This is what you got. And it was part of the artist development piece, which
Mm-hmm.
is missing right now, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I felt like these young men took off because they had people around them,
The right
myself
people.
and others, to help
Mm-hmm.
them navigate the waters, to
Mm-hmm.
become the stars that we know them to be, to
Yeah.
become the celebrity, to become that
Mm-hmm.
icon and great at what it is that they do. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, for me, I knew that, man, if I took this by the horns and led this myself, and I I know I'm not gonna let myself down. But that after that situation, I'm like, man, whatever I do, I'm even going to be the person driving this ship. I'm going to be the person in charge of what's going to happen. I'm going to write, produce, and direct this film called June Archer, and it's going to come out the way that I want it to come out, not because someone
Somebody
else
else.
is,
Right. You can't leave it
so
in somebody else's hands. You have to
absolutely,
grab it.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know who you can, and then you know who you can't. And sometimes you have to put accountability on yourself and say, at the end of the day, if I do what I'm supposed to do, I will shine. If I shine my light, it's gonna shine bright.
That's
Right. So
right.
that you have to do. That's it.
That's it. And so, as time was going on, you were just putting or noting down all of these gems that you learned, all of these lessons that you learned. And then you decided that you wanted to write a book.
Yeah. 2010,
Mm-hmm.
the music just sounded a little different to me. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a sidestep, and I had filmed a documentary which focused on and highlighted independent artists and up and coming producers. Right. It was
Mm-hmm.
called the docu-tape. And I took that and I brought it to Fuse, and Fuse ended up doing two shows with me and my partners. One called the Docu Tape and one called Behind the Unsigned, was the two most viewed shows on Fuse for 2 summers.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, man, this is different. And as I was stepping away from the music and doing that, I was looking online. It was online, and I was just seeing people, Gina,
Right.
just they were just complaining about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't like my spouse. I don't like my job. My children drive me crazy. Life is this, life is that. My neighbor. And I'm like, how do you wake up in the morning and look at this platform and,
Right.
and expect to go out and conquer the world?
That's very true.
You are already depressed because of what you're seeing. 5,000 friends
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook, and 95% of them got nothing good to say. Nothing positive to
Exactly.
say.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I set out just writing little inspirational quotes and typing them up and boom, posting it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
doing that consistently every day. I would say something positive. And it got to a point, Gene, that people would message me back, "Hey, that was good. Like that inspired me today. Hey, do you mind if I print this out? Can I print this out and put it on at my desk? Can I put it up at home? Can I put it on my refrigerator?" And at that point, Gina, I'm like, yeah, of course. Like
Right.
I'm just trying to get people to think glass half full instead of half
Mm-hmm.
empty. Yeah,
Right.
please. Oh, do you mind if I give it to my son? Yeah, give it to share it with whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said one time to me, "You should write a book. You should make a book with this stuff." And I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. I just want to. I'm cool. And I realized then sometimes people see greatness in you,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes people can prophesy some things. And I realized I was blocking my blessing. And we all get into
Yes.
that rut where you're like, Gina, you should start a podcast. You're like, oh, and I'm behind the scenes. I don't really, not realizing you are blocking your
Mhm.
blessings,
Yep.
right? And it
Mm-hmm.
got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Let me do the market research, because the market research was already there, Gina. All I did
Mm-hmm.
was look at what was online and
Mm-hmm.
people saying they liked it and how many likes it had. And I just put those to the side. And the ones that had like 100 or less, I kind of put those to the side. And I took like the best 200 and put it in a book. And that was what birthed my book. But I didn't have the title at the time.
Right.
And I was 5 years into my marriage, and people were encouraging my wife and I to get a tune-up, like go to couples therapy, and she was very much, hey, I think we should look into going to couples therapy. All right, cool. I'm down for it. I wasn't that dude was like, oh, but I don't need to talk to nobody. I was like,
Mm.
yeah, all right, let's do it. And
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's been to therapy or counseling knows that when you get there, there's a formality to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman who was working with us would always ask, so how was your week? How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who knows me, when the minute I wake up, like, I'm good. So I would respond, oh, I woke up this morning, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I had a great
Mm-hmm.
week. Like, I'm here. And it just, every time. And one day she just stops and she's like, she looks at my wife and is like, is he always like this? My
Mm.
wife was like, yeah. My family thought it was crazy too, because like, no one could ever be this positive and this happy all the time. And that's probably why we're here, because I don't know if one day it's just not gonna be right and everything's gonna go all wrong.
Right.
And she looks at me and she says, is every day a good day to you? And as soon as I was getting ready to say it, I was like, hold on, I know we're not supposed to use our phones, or I need a pen. And I'm like, yes, every day can be a good day. And I'm like, that's gonna be the title of my book.
Mm.
And I wrote it down, and we got right back to the session. And I knew at that point I had the title of my book. And in 2013, I had a meeting at Uptown Magazine, and they were on board and they launched the book, and we did really, really well. And I realized I need to catch people early. So I started a childhood book, a children's book of inspiration, rather, called Yes You Can, which highlights my two children. It's kind of an old and a dedication to them, to let
Mm-hmm.
them know, and any young person know, that no matter what it is that you want to do, if you could
Right.
dream it, if you believe it, it can come true. And that allowed me to produce my second book. So two books out, a third and fourth one on the way, coming, and super excited about those. And that was the inspiration behind that book.
But that's good. And it was something that you said, it was really interesting. In the beginning, you talked about how you lived the life that you knew that you wanted to live. And, then you had that shift in the way that you thought, because some or one of the band members didn't show up. And so then, but then look at how you had another shift in your
Yeah.
life and in your mindset from going to therapy, because sometimes when we're with our partners we don't hear one another, and then
Yeah.
because we're so used to living life a certain way, we don't think that anything is wrong, because sometimes no one bothers to tell us. So then when someone does say, that one person that tells you something is not right, so much you look at that person like, no, something's not right with you, because everything is all right with me. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with me. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is that no one told you that something was wrong, and it's not until sometimes somebody who spends so much time with one another that you can actually see. So going to therapy opened up your mind even more. Look at that.
Absolutely.
I know I
Absolutely.
was one of the people that used to repost your your quotes, because they were some, as a matter of fact, they've been coming, they come up on the memories in Facebook, and always like
Hmm.
June Archer. I mean, they're on the money, on the
Yep.
money. Wow. So we have the books going on. right? So
Yep.
now after the books, you decided to start, you were thinking about starting a school. So where did that come from? That idea about starting your own school?
So the school piece started uh,
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
And what had happened was a friend of mine had gotten a grant to go
Mm-hmm.
into the school as a program, an after school program, enrichment program. And he calls me one day and he says, "Man, can you do me a favor? Could you could you teach and tell people about what it is that you do?" And I'm like, and I don't think anybody's really interested in what I do. Like a lot of people don't even know. He's like, that's the point. Everyone knows you do music, but a lot of people don't know what it is that you do and how influential you are. He says,
Mm-hmm.
if you can, I'm doing a open house. Can you just shoot a 60-second video about what you would teach in this class? I do the video, Gina, and I hit him, and he's like, man, this is crazy. And I'm like, what happened? You didn't like the video? He's like, I'm gonna call you. We got a problem. And I'm like, I could reshoot it if you want. I have everything here. I could shoot it and send it back. He was like, no, just stick by the phone. I'm gonna call you. And I pick up the phone when he calls. He's like, remember when I told you about the grant and I only had 2 kids in the program that signed up? I said, yeah. I said, but you said you were gonna have an open house. He's like, yeah, we did the open house. We got a problem. I said, I texted you and told you if you needed me to redo it. He's like, no, it's a good problem to have. We have over
Mm-hmm.
120 students that want to take your
Wow.
class. And I said, you what? He was like, yeah, your program is going to be this enrichment program at the school. So we do it for 1 semester, and it's amazing, Gina. We
Mm.
talk about the business of music. You know, I started a record company inside the classroom. The kids loved it. And when it was over, he was like, man, what it would be if you had your own school of arts program. And me just joking around, I'm like, yeah, like anybody would want to see the June Archer School of Arts. And we both were like,
Light bulb.
uh-oh, here we go. And then I set
Mm-hmm.
out and started calling every principal I knew, every person that was in school teaching arts. And I'm like, hey, we got this program, da da da. And we just, as the days went by, we just started making up stuff. And I'm like, you know what? At that point, a lot of my friends who were creatives weren't working because the pandemic had shut everything down.
Mm-hmm.
My friends who were photographers weren't working. My friends who were DJs weren't working.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? We should teach DJing. We should teach graphic design, filmmaking, photography.
Mm.
And he was like, that'd be dope. So those are the 4 offerings that we had. We've now gone on to add animation, songwriting, podcasting. And we were in 1 school, then became 2. Now we're up to 18 schools. Now with the opportunity to work
Whoa.
with some boys and girls clubs. So we're having a really, really good time, and we're scaling it as we go. And we've added more DJ instructors and more graphic design instructors.
Mm-hmm.
And it is rewarding. And a lot of the people who I'm working with, I always like to say working with because they're not working for me. We're doing this together because I
Together.
couldn't do this without them. They didn't even realize, and I didn't realize how much joy we have been getting from teaching young people who we like to call our student creatives and our student executives about the business of entertainment, because they can
Mm-hmm.
take these disciplines, Gina,
Mm-hmm.
and even if they're not in the music business, they could go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and get a job at the hospital. They could get a job at Stanley Black and Decker. They could get a job at the public library. They could get a job at an insurance company, taking these same disciplines and applying it, right? So it's so rewarding to see that these kids love music. So you had to put sugar in the medicine as it pertains to education. Because once you start talking about who's getting the bag, how much is Cardi B making? How much is Justin Bieber making? What is
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift selling? And you add that dollar sign to it, and the hands go up and like, ooh, I know that answer. They're doing multiplication, division, addition,
There you
subtraction,
go. Come on,
percentages,
June. Come on,
decimal points,
June. That's
because
right.
it is relevant to them. And as
Mm-hmm.
educators have to learn how to make what we're teaching relevant,
That's
and
right.
we have to do it in a way that is incentivized as well, because that's when you're going to get the hands to get raised.
That's
and
right.
and 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 I always make this I have this thing that I tell a lot of educators who tell me, well, I don't know, with the math. And I'm like, no, it's not the way you see math. And we're talking about financial literacy, right?
Mhm.
It's when I was going to school, there was an equation that I didn't like
Mhm.
that they still use. And the equation goes like this, Gina. June drove 2 miles to pick up Mike.
Mhm.
He drove 3.25 miles to get gas. He forgot something down the street and had to go 2.5 miles. How far did June go? Right? That's the equation. Do you remember
Mhm.
those equations? You
Mhm.
remember, whoever's
Mhm.
watching and listening, just
Right.
think about those equations.
Right.
And I
Right.
tell
Right.
these educators,
Right.
the kids that are in these classes, this is what that equation means to them.
Mhm.
June never made it off the block because we stole 4 of his tires and we sold them for $200, which means we have $800, and we went and spent our money on some Timbs and some other things. So there's your equation. They don't care about that because it means nothing to them.
Right.
But when you say,
Right.
all right, y'all, Cardi B sold 1 million copies and she gets 12 cents a record. How much money is that? Ooh. Okay, so now take away 3% for taxes, take away 5% for management, take another 20% that goes back to the record company. Ooh. Because they want to know what, Gina? They want to know who's getting the bag.
That's
But if you
right.
give them the percentages of who's getting what, okay,
Mhm.
now she sold 1 million, but next week she's going down 8%. How much is she selling then?
Mhm.
Ooh. Because the music and the education piece of it and who's getting the bag and who's doing what is relevant to them. So they're excited to learn. And then when you add the
Yep.
incentivized learning, all right, y'all, take out your phones. Now, who's the first person to let me know how many records did 50 Cent sell on Get Rich or Die Trying? They're like, boom, got it. Here's a $20 gift card. All right. Thank you, Mr. Archer.
That's
All right.
key.
$10 gift card is
That is
up for
key.
grabs. Who
Yes.
now they're excited and they're learning. They don't even know that they're learning. Or they
Mhm.
do, but it's exciting because guess
Mhm.
what? Got a gift card.
No, but
I'm gonna spend
listen,
it.
that's right. That's
We
right.
we need food at home. Oh, I need whatever. Like
Right.
that right there.
June, can I tell you that to this day, I know how to count in French up to 20. I can say little words in French. Why? Because when I was in French class, we played French bingo. And he used to give out candy. And I was like, I want the candy. And to this day, I remember my numbers. I remember some phrases, all because, like you said, it was incentivized.
It was
I
fun.
played violin for 4 years. I loved it. It was the approach of my orchestra teacher, how we would just like, the way in which, like you said, use the word discipline, how we would get our instruments. Everything was methodical with him. And it was so cool how we all would just assume, get to our placements. And it was to this day, and then I've always had a love and a thirst for music, always. And I have this uncanny ability to recall lyrics. It doesn't matter how long I haven't heard the
Mm.
song. I've had this ability for a long time. And I always knew that if I put something to song for me, if it's put to song, oh, Gina's off and running. Like I know it. You know what I mean? But you're
Yeah.
right. And that's along the lines, what you're speaking of is like the Montessori teaching, play through learning. My daughter did the same thing and how they taught them. I mean, from kindergarten, she learned sign language when she was
Mm.
5 years old. And it was just the way in which they taught the children that things just stuck with her and with the other children. And you're right, there is something to be said about incentivizing, speaking the children's language, and letting them flourish. You know what I'm saying, with how in which that we do what we do. That, listen, June, this is what I'm talking about. I had to have you on. I told everybody you're gonna drop some gems. Oh my goodness. June. Listen, let me go to the comment line. Let me see, because I have you all to myself. I'm sharing you with everyone, but still, we have folks from New Jersey and Queens and White Plains. Everybody's just saying hi. Frances Benjamin, I'll put hers up. She's like, I'm loving this. We have Darlene. Hi, everyone.
Thank you,
Oh, Gina, we
Darlene.
need a violin rendition soon. Maybe I might play. I don't know,
Hmm.
June. I have to see what theater is available. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we have a lot of folks saying hi. My goodness. So you also have a podcast, The
Yes.
Winner's Circle. So why did you want to start your podcast after having the books and the music? What was it now why you wanted to start this podcast?
Well, that inspiration came from a couple of things, a couple of
Mm-hmm.
angles. I went to I did an event for Eric Thomas, ET the Hip Hop Preacher, 2014. Um, he had spoken at one of my events that I started called the 100 Men of Color Black Tie Gala and Awards, where I honor 100 men throughout the state of Connecticut and Western Massachusetts. And I had the opportunity when my book came out to actually go on the road with him and Trent Shelton, and I got to learn that space in terms of motivational speaking. And they are motivational speakers. I consider myself a motivational teacher
Mm-hmm.
because I try to give people the tools necessary. I don't just try to get you excited and tell you you could conquer everything without giving you the necessary tools and things to
Right.
combat those negative words and behavior that people
Uh-huh.
will spew once you come from a motivational speaker conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I call myself a motivational teacher. And I started to just realize that, man, these words have power. And I saw Jeremy Bettis, shout out to my producer of the show. I saw him in passing. He had been working with 50 Cent from day one. And we
Mm-hmm.
saw each other at Sony Studios. And he was like, hey, what you got going on? And I'm like, hey, come up to the studio and we're vibing. And I said, man, you know what? We're really, really, really dope. Let me know if you guys would be interested. But I'd love to do like some 60-second videos. And he's like, all right, what will you do? And I said, just some motivational stuff, like just giving people pieces of what I have in the book. He was like, that would be dope. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. And we started out with 60-second videos, and they came out, and people were like, all right, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Who's this guy with the bow tie and all this stuff? And then Tony Yayo was in the office one day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I got an idea. Yayo, can I interview you really quickly? And he's like, yeah. And this was right after Obama.
Uh-huh.
And we started talking about Trump
Mm-hmm.
and all these other things. He was telling me stories that he was like, I've never told anybody this Trump story. And it went viral throughout like the Black Twitter, IG space. And people were like, yo, that interview was crazy. And I'm like, man, people love that. And I'm like, do I even need to do these 60-second videos anymore? I can just do these interviews. And I just started calling up celebrities and people I knew, like, hey, can you come by the office? And then people like, I'm like, yeah, so I'm over at 50. This is 50 G unit. And like, oh, yeah, I'll be there. And it spiraled into interview after interview, and Styles P, Ari Melber, Mary J. Blige, Chris, like all these people would tap in, and it got to a point where, people will reach out, and one call was like, hey, Sean Paul wants you to interview him. Like he wants you to do it. And Tito Jackson wants to be interviewed by you. And I'm like, you mean Tito Jackson, like Michael Jackson, Tito Jackson?
Right.
I'm like, that's crazy. And it just became so inspiring because my angle, Gina, was I want to talk to people and interview them about their journey. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about everything that you could Google. Oh, why
Right.
were you on drugs? You got caught smoking drugs, or you cheated on your husband, or you cheated on your spouse, you tax evasion, all that stuff you could Google. I want to know about you.
Yes.
Tell me about your journey. And if you had words of wisdom that you could tell somebody who's watching or listening, what would it be? How do you get out of a rut?
Yeah.
and people started to gravitate towards that. And I'm like, man,
Mhm.
we have something here. And then one day I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna call this the winner circle. Like, I want people to win. Like, I just want you to win,
Mm.
right? And it just evolved. And sometimes I tell people, you know what? Give yourself a win day. Give
Mm.
yourself a win day. And you know what that is, Gina? What I need. What do you need today? I need a win day. What I need. Is it doing pottery today? Is it taking a walk in the park? Is it golfing? Is it
Mhm.
spending the afternoon with your girlfriends? Is it you and your boys going to have a cigar? I need a win day today.
Yeah.
Forget everything. I'm taking a day off. I'm taking a
Mhm.
personal. I'm taking a PTO day.
Right.
I'm going to have a win day. What I need. This is what I need
What you need.
today.
I love it. That sounds better than I need a me day. That sounds better
Right.
than
A me
no, I
day
need some
is
time.
a me day
Right.
is selfish, right?
Mhm.
Respectfully, a
That's
me day
right.
is selfish because you
Mhm.
may not be the only one going through it. You
That's
may
right.
need to bounce something off of somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah, it could be a me day, but what are you doing to inspire and motivate somebody else? Gina, you know what? I took the day off today. Let's go get some pedicures.
Mhm.
It is still a me day, but it's a win. This is what I need. And what do you need, sister? Let's do it.
Mhm.
Let's do it. Because if we're not inspiring others and lifting others up, especially in this
Mhm.
space right now, what are you really doing? Because people are struggling, Gina. People
Oh,
are
yes.
people are having a hard time.
Yeah.
It can't be all about you. When you can lift
Right.
somebody up and you just call them and say, hey, listen, I don't know what you're doing today, but I'm about to go do this paint and sip. You want to come? I bought you a ticket. You ain't got,
Right.
don't worry about it. Your money's no good here. What?
Right.
I'm coming to pick you up.
But guess what? If they're not ready or they can't do it, you still go.
You still go.
You still go.
Because guess what? We said at the top of the show, right? Don't allow someone else to block your blessings.
Nope.
That's it. That's
No.
it.
No. If you feeling to do it, you still do it. You gave them the opportunity to join you, but you still do it.
Because you know
But
what
so
people
many.
do? You know what people do, Gina?
Mhm.
And I'm certain those who are watching, oh, I was gonna go to the New Edition concert, but my girl couldn't go anymore. So I'm not. No, what's that got to do with you? Go. I'm not gonna know anybody. You're not going to know nobody. You're going to enjoy yourself and celebrate by listening to music or watching the show or going to see this movie that you wanted to see.
Mhm.
Because guess what? You can't talk to that person when you're in the movie anyway.
Right,
So
right, 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 right.
so just go.
It's true.
Just go.
It's
Why
true.
would you dim your light? Why would you miss out on an opportunity
Mhm.
because your homeboy couldn't make it, your homeboy couldn't afford it, your homegirl had to do something, your homeboy couldn't find somebody to watch the kids? Like, this should
Right.
not be an excuse. You
That's
got
right.
one life to live.
Mhm.
It's one. It only comes around one time. I get it. Some people may have died and come back. Some may have a lease on their life. Like, I get it. But you got one rodeo.
Yeah. But you don't realize it until later in life. Some folks. Some people realize it a little earlier, but sometimes it's not really realized until the latter part of life when you haven't done it and you become maybe the president of the I shoulda club.
I should
You
have.
know what I mean? I should have. And I'll be honest, I found myself saying, "Okay, I will. One day I will." I found I was like almost I was the president. I felt like I was becoming the president of the One Day I Will club. And they're like, "No."
You don't want to do that.
And I was just like, "Gina, you have to start. Just start. Just start your podcast." I didn't have a billboard, excuse me, I didn't have my step and repeat. I didn't have anything. I went to the store and I was told that my JPEG was too small, so I could not create a banner. I was like, so what? And then I said, okay, well, where am I going to do the show? And I was like, I'll figure it out. I just was like finished with the excuses. I'm going to do this, and then of course you were also in my head because I reached out to you, so it was like all of this stuff. What's the sense in like putting out all of this energy
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to take advantage of the energy that you've put out? And so I was like, I'm just going to start. What are you going to talk about, Gina? I don't know, but I will talk about something,
Watch
and
this. Watch this, Gina.
uh-huh.
Do you like plants? Anybody knows you, do they know that you like plants?
Yes.
So why would you need a JPEG when your plants are right in the back? It is who you are.
And that's what I ended up putting. I was like, hey, I have my plans. You see what I'm saying? I let it all come together. I said, it's all right, it's going to work. And that's that. No more excuses. Because
No,
that's
no.
what it was. It was excuses. Part of it is that I felt like I wasn't ready. But then how long am I going to stay not ready?
Right.
There has to get that. You have to get to that point where you say, okay, this is it. I'm going to start. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So no need to even have that in my vocabulary anymore. I said I'm going to reach out to dear friends and to cold call people. I'm not afraid. I'm going to do what I need to do to make it work.
Mhm.
And I'm so excited. I come on here week after week, and that's what it is. Yes, I can.
Yes.
Isn't that right, June?
Yes,
I can.
yes, you can. I'm gonna give you a gem. I'm gonna give you a gem.
Uh-huh.
This is what I'm feeling. And
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping that people that are watching, listening,
Uh-huh.
I want you. I don't curse, right? So I
Mhm.
want people to really pay attention to what I'm about to tell them
Okay.
and share with you. Don't let anybody should on you. SHOULD. Don't let nobody should on you. Meaning, we get so wrapped up in what other people think and their opinions of what we suppose. You know what you should do, Gina? You should have had that JPEG. You should have, and you should have.
Mhm.
Don't let nobody should on you.
I
SHOULD.
like that. Let me put that up. Don't let anybody shit on you.
Don't let. It's very tricking to the ears. But you
Mm-hmm.
could tell people now. Don't shit on me. Don't shit on me. Don't worry about what I'm doing or what I should have been done and what I could have done. And you either support me or you inspire me or motivate me. But don't shit on me, because
Mm-hmm.
when you get to a point and you and now this podcast is out in the market and is doing. Oh, Gina, you know what you should have done. If I was you, you should have. You should have. No, no, don't do that. Don't shit on me. Don't tell me what you think I should have, could have, would have done. Support
Mm-hmm.
me or inspire me. Hey, look at it from this angle, but don't shit on me and what
That's
I'm
right.
doing. Either you with me or you're not. I'm not even gonna say that you're against me, but just
Mm-hmm.
inspire, motivate, and support what it is that I'm doing. Now, if I'm doing the wrong thing,
Mm-hmm.
come at me a different angle and tell me, hey, Gina, if I were you, I don't know if smoking and drinking on your show fits what you're doing. Gee, I don't know if I like the plants in the backdrop.
Right.
I have a graphic designer, so I'm gonna if it's going to enhance and elevate and push what I'm doing forward, absolutely. You invite that into your space. But just be careful of who is trying to interject and who's trying to add what they believe is value when it really isn't in your life. And make
That's
sure
right.
you guard that with your life. You guard that with your life,
Mm-hmm.
because there is an evil element out there. The devil is alive and well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they say,
No, you're
no
right.
what no weapon against me shall
Shall
prosper. He
prosper.
never said that
Mhm.
there would not be a weapon.
Right.
He didn't say it wouldn't rise up.
Correct.
We have to put ourselves in a frame of mind that it won't prosper here. Like I rebuke that.
That's right.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I wanted to get that out, because we get to a space when we're all doing good things. We're trying to do great things.
That's right.
And people want to dim your light. Oh, they go Gina with her little podcast. Oh, now Gina thinks like, oh, so you good? And the response is, because we've been so programmed. I'm all right. I got my little podcast. Why does your podcast have to be little?
Belittle.
Don't belittle it.
That's
Don't
right.
don't dumb down. No, like I do this for real. If you weren't good, why would I want to interview with you? If you're not
It's
good, why
so
would you want to do
true.
it anyway?
It's so true. June, I can tell you that there have been people There have been some folks that have said to me, wow, Gina, you should do this, you should do that. Good stuff, like, have your book, do this. And so yeah, I started the podcast, and I mean crickets, like crickets on a lot of the folks, because they didn't really want me to do it. Now you're doing it, and it's like, well, where's the support? And I said, you see, this is why I had to develop a strong mind from early on. It goes back a little bit to what you talked about, that code switch. Being from a West Indian background, you can't speak the ling, because back then it wasn't cool. Just like wearing glasses and having braces, it wasn't cool back in our day, So I learned, I watched my mom, and I'm able to switch my language. And so when I'm in school, I'm speaking one way, and when I'm in home, I'm speaking a different way, right? And so I had to develop a strong mind from early on in order to survive, so to speak, and not let people get to me. And it has carried me to where I am now. And sure, I have to get into my meditation. And so that's why I want to ask you, what do you do? Because you're out here doing so many things. You're out here being a blessing to others all the time. Great father, husband. But what does June do to reset?
Laugh, pray, meditate, take what I call a 20-second time out. With all the sports, or for those who watch sports, when things get tough, when a play doesn't go right, when you happen to be down 5 points or down a goal or down 3, what does the coach do?
Time out.
Yeah, let's reset. This ain't it.
Right.
And you go into the halftime saying, I have to make these adjustments. So for me, I find the opportunity to enjoy life and laugh with my wife, laugh with my children, laugh with my friends and my family. Pray. Every opportunity you get. You don't have to have a certain time when you can sit here and say a prayer before you get on a podcast. You can say one after, like, thank you for allowing me clarity of thought, clarity of speech. It's thanking the Most High for the food that you're about to eat, or waking up in the morning and say, thank you. I'm not saying it has to be an extensive prayer. For those who are in church, and then obviously do what makes you feel good. But
exactly.
If you're more spiritual than religious, just have a thankful spirit. Pray, meditate. If it's not prayer, it's meditation, and just putting out positive energy. And what I love doing is I like to inhale positive thoughts, right? And I exhale the negative ones. So wealth, debt, love, hate.
I like
success, envy, right? Inhale what you want, exhale what you want to get rid of, or what you don't want around you. You meditate on that. If there's something that's coming into your life and you're like, increase, right? You inhale that. If it's new car, if it's new home, inhale that. And just whatever negative, hate, envy, jealousness, debt, exhale that. You want to inhale what you want and what you want to see. And we have to get away from not wanting these things because of what it looks like or what it's perceived to be by others, right? We were just getting ready to talk about it. Gina thinks she fly because she got a new car. So you don't even drive that car, Gina. You kind of put it in the garage. You drive your other car around because you don't want nobody. Because I just don't want to hear nobody's mouth. Oh, she got a new apartment. She got a condo. So she think. So now I want to really, it's a little something. So when that car gets into an accident, when that house gets burnt down, when you lose that job because it's a little promotion. So when you lose that little promotion, it shouldn't be that much of a big deal because it was little to begin with.
Exactly.
You didn't really appreciate it. It was just a little something. That's because I look at it in the reverse. When negative things happen, I'm like, man, that's just a little negativity. I'm cool. Because that's what I belittle. Because that's exactly what that is. When people are like, oh, you interview X, Y, and Z. Yeah, nah. Yeah, I got busy with that one. I had fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not I don't want to be too excited, because if I get excited, people gonna think I'm tripping. They're gonna think no,
No, live your
no,
life.
no.
Enjoy it.
I do this for real.
That's
I
right.
enjoy this. Oh, you thank you. I appreciate. Yeah, I just not. I just took it. That's a little. I don't do
Yeah,
well with
no, no, no,
compliments.
no,
Why
no.
not? You live
Mm-hmm.
once. You live
Mm-hmm.
once. If you don't enjoy it, guess what? Give it to somebody else.
Come on, June. Come on, June. You
We do. We have been programmed by Big Mama and everybody. Girl, don't put your business out there. Don't tell nobody you bought a new car. Why?
mm-hmm.
Because there's another Gina somewhere who is saying, yo, look at Gina. She driving. Oh man, I love how she dressed. I love how I want that. I want to do that. Not in a jealous or envious way. If
Mm-hmm.
she could do it, I could do it. Can I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
But if you dim your light, right?
Right.
Let's talk about what a lighthouse does. I always like to make this
Mm-hmm.
example. What is the purpose of a lighthouse, Gina? It is to show people the way. It is to help people navigate murky waters or turbulent. It helps them see when they can't see past a certain point. So if you dim your light and you are the lighthouse and someone is looking at you as a source of inspiration or motivation, and you dim your light because there's someone is like, man, I
Can't
don't want
see
to
you.
seem.
Right.
There's someone that is banking and counting on you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But if you dim your light, they can't see you.
They can't see you.
They can't see you. And you could be their savior, and they can't see you. June, June, June. Oh my goodness. www.iamjunearcher.com. Oh my goodness. You can actually book June, listen, for coaching sessions, that inhale and exhale, all of that you get. You can book him for speaking engagements. Please visit junearcher.com. I am junearcher.com. You'll see all of the folks that he has interviewed. He is an amazing man. And like Eric Kahn said, you are the definition of progress.
Thank
I
you.
am honored to know you. And I've known you for so many years. I mean, I think we go back to 2003, I met you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, every time, and we don't speak often, but if you reach out, I call you. If I reach out, I call you, you call me back. But it's always met with, like, if we saw each other yesterday,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know? So, oh my goodness. This has been nothing short of amazing. And I thank you so very much. I'm telling you, one day you and I we're going to do something together. We're going to be in a
Absolutely.
movie. We're going to do something together because the both of us have manifested that we'll have a studio in a certain studio that's being built right now. And we had a wonderful conversation about it. And it's just like, oh my goodness. You just never know.
No, you
You
never
never
know.
know, right? But you have
Might
to
as well
speak it into existence.
speak it into existence and don't let nobody shit on your dreams.
That's right. I'm not gonna let anybody shit on my dreams. That is for sure. I make sure that that doesn't happen. And that's where you have to stand strong. You have to stay strong. And I'm gonna keep on striving and keep on doing what I need to do because I have to be accountable for Gina. I can't look for
Absolutely.
anybody else, but
You're
with
doing a
great
wonderful
friends.
job. You're doing a
Thank you
wonderful
so
job.
much.
I
Thank
wish you all
you.
the best. I am proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. I love you, Black woman.
Oh, I love you, Black King. I thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. You've just been absolutely a great person to know, and you are an inspiration. You know what? Your family is. They are just so much more blessed for having you.
Thank you, Miss Gina. I appreciate you.
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Mr. June Archer, please visit his website, www.iamjunearcher.com. You can find him on Twitter, IG, LinkedIn, Facebook. His email is 1128ent@gmail.com. June, you take care of yourself. Don't be a stranger. I truly hope that you come back.
Absolutely will. Thank you so much, Miss Gina.
Oh, you're very welcome. Continue to take care of yourself. All
You as
right.
well.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know I promised a great show, and I know I didn't disappoint. Feel free to reach out to me on IG, which is Talk with Gina. Send me a DM. You can also reach me on talkwithginap@gmail.com. That's my email. And, shoot me an email about today's show. Let me know what you want to hear, what you liked. I appreciate all of you. Please click like and subscribe. We always have to go out with the song, right? we gonna go out with our song. We cannot go out without the mad love. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you. I have another great guest next week. Oh my goodness. Hint, hint, look behind me. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. For those of you who are interested, take care. This video will be uploaded on the audio platforms in a few days, so you'll be able to actually listen if you aren't unable to watch. Come on now.
If you don't show love, then you get no love. When you don't show love, then you get no love. Now you wanna show love, 'cause I get mad.